A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there to my channel, the Twinflame Union. And this is the part 2 of the channeling session. Divine Masculine goes through a realization of true love with Divine Feminine. And if you look at the thumbnail of the part 1, there is a Divine Masculine and there's a Divine Feminine, and in between you see the word merge. So this is also a symbolic of the merge that is going on in the 5-dimensional and even higher dimensions. 5D is basically the dimension that we are heading to, and a lot of us are already in 4D, a lot of us are already in 5D, and there are even higher dimensions, I would like to say. But why we constantly talk about 5D, you must have heard it from many other people also, because 5D is more and more and more, like it is more closer to the the spiritualistic realms. 3D is totally materialistic world, complete materialism. Everything is about the stuff, the things, the body. And once you start crossing 3D and you enter 4D and then you enter 5D, you become a person who is less and less concerned about materialistic things. Now, when this channeling ended, when the part 1 ended, you must have seen, all of you, those who saw it and heard it, that there was a wedding procession going on. And I want to explain it to you. Again, I could not do this part 2 yesterday, even though I tried very hard, but something or the other kept coming up and I really could not do it. And then I told you guys that so many channelings have become pending that I have to somehow quickly do all of them in the coming few days. But what also happened is that the word marriage was given to me in part 1 itself, before part 1 itself. So when I was starting the part 1, I was already told that I have to speak about marriages. But since I had recently attended a family wedding, about which I had even shared a few pictures on social media, so I kept on thinking that maybe, my mind is still consumed with the marriage ceremony and with all the thoughts that I was having during the marriage ceremony. So maybe, it's something else, I was confused. But then if you heard the channeling, I did speak about the marriages that the divine masculines could have been involved in with their karmics, or even the divine feminines were involved in the very marriage-like relationships, very close relationship with some karmics, or it was probably the situation where a karmic proposed marriage to them after they got separated with the divine masculine, and then they were like, oh no, I cannot do this. If I marry this person, my life will be ruined. Or she literally thought that yes, I can marry this person, and she met the family, or she contemplated the marriage, or she got a bit more closer with them, and then she realized that this is really going to be a nightmare. So why and then, as you saw, that I could have done the channeling like half an hour before that time, or I could have done it 1 hour after it, or I could have even missed that procession, because I also step out a lot throughout the day. At least 2-3 times I step out, so I could have missed it completely. But it happened right when I was about to end the channeling. Just, it was the message was very clear that you have to talk about it. It's not your imagination. It is the part of the channeling, even though I was in a marriage ceremony. So it's really wonderful how messages are given, very accurate messages are given. Even in the tarot card readings, a lot of people who get the readings from me, they get completely shocked with the amount of accuracy that is being shared, and even I get very shocked sometimes, and I sometimes end up laughing also, even if the question is very sad or the answer is very sad. But it's so accurate because as an intuitive reader, I receive the answers any which way. But I use tarot to get a double confirmation, because as per my intuitive reading, all of the predictions are pretty much accurate only. Even if I did some prediction like 2 years back and 3 years back, and it did not make any sense at all back then, but after 2-3 years, the thing happened exactly in the same fashion. And even I was very shocked that how come, 3 years back I had made this prediction and now it is happening in the same fashion, but now it all makes sense. Now, while I'm saying all of this, I would also like to tell you guys that I do not want to take any credit for these type of readings or channelings, because I am simply a very normal human being, a very ordinary human being. I don't have any such greatness in me or any such thing that I should really take the credit for or praise myself for. In fact, it's really wrong to praise yourself publicly also. Personally, yes, to uplift yourself, you should definitely say good things to yourself, but publicly one should never show off what they have or what they're doing. I mean, little bit of I'm doing this, I'm doing that is fine. Talking about anecdotes or talking about some account or talking about situations that you faced is all right. But I think in this ascension journey, there's one thing that I'm very much clear about and very much sure about. And I'm saying this by my own experience, that we are not the doers. We are definitely not the doers. It's only when we reach a certain type of understanding and we start connecting with the source and we integrate with the source, we make prayers, we ask for help, then things happen. And you can only ask for help when you have really tried everything and you know that from your human capability, like your materialistic bodily or I, me, myself capability, nothing can happen, nothing works out. It's only when you surrender. So all of these readings and channelings and all of these things, all the work I do, everything, and all the work you do, they are all happening because of the source. We are not the doers and we genuinely cannot do anything. This is not to demotivate anyone. This is not to make yourself feel small or low. It's just to understand that everything is happening via divine intervention. But still, the greatness of source is so amazing that source still gives you the choice. It gives you all the choices because the source wants you to understand all the permutations and all the combinations and everything that makes you understand that the ego is a false concept, and technically we are all one, because all souls, because all human beings, we are all souls. We are all created by the same speck of light that God is created from. So the part is equal to the whole, which means that even if I cut a potato and make a potato chips out of it, or I make a vegetable out of it, or I just simply cut it into 5 pieces, all those 5 pieces would still be potatoes and they will have still the same DNA and they are very much capable of creating more potatoes. If you have ever done potato farming, you will know that they cut the potatoes into pieces, in pieces where the sapling can come out, and that is buried into the ground, and that can make hundreds of other potatoes. And then if you continue the cycle, then millions and countless, every seed has the potential of creating unlimited countless seeds. But the only thing is that you need to get the fertile ground, you need to get water, you need to get the resources. So resources, again the word sources there. So anyone can become intuitive readers, anyone can become have strong intuition power, but for that you need to basically dissolve this I, me, myself. Now the lines that the divine masculine is telling to the divine feminine have exact same energy, and he says that to her that, in my world, you can hold my world in your one hand. It also reminds me of the 2 of Wands in the tarot, where the masculine is in a very reflective mode. Be it masculine or feminine, anyone can be that person. Is holding the globe, is holding the earth in his hand, and then still looking outside in reflection. So something similar to that, he's saying that you can hold my world in your hand, and by which he means that my world belongs to you. And when I commit to you, it's a promise I make to you the deal of love is not anything else, not any materialistic exchange or gain, but it's just that I belong to you, you belong to me. In terms of love, how it happens in the 5D world. And you can come with me and I can come with you to your world. You can, live in my heart and I can live in your heart. And this love makes us free. This love makes us free so that we can fly. We can fly different flights. We can take as many flights in this beautiful blue, deep blue sky. There is no limit to where we can go and what we can do. And take all my flights. Take my ascension. Basically what he's trying to say here. And take all my wings. Take all my hopes. Take all my comfort. Take all my love. Take everything I have. Take me completely. Can you believe it? These type of words he's saying for her. Take my comfortable sleeps. Like you have sleeps where you have nightmares, but there are nights, some nights you sleep like a child, you sleep like a baby. So he's saying take those comfortable sleeps, those nights. Take my house, what he means by house is home, is where the heart is. So he's saying take everything and give me all you have. That's all I want from you. Now, clearly the energy of this channeling is about merge. And that's why I'm talking about all of these things. That you can develop your intuition. You can develop all your gifts. You can develop this fact that you have surrendered and everything will then become happenstance and you don't have to really make efforts. And if you make actions, it would be inspired action and it would be action where you would not be caring about the fruits. As in, okay, it's going to be good or it's going to be bad for me. You're just going to be very real. And throughout the day, it's not like you keep smiling all the time and you're like, maybe in the morning you feel like crying about something. Maybe at afternoon you watch a funny movie. Maybe in the evening you have a very serious conversation with someone. Maybe after some time you even get angry with someone. Maybe later on you cry more and you release more and you smile again. And maybe in the night you are a very content person. Or maybe on some nights you cannot sleep and you sleep a bit late and so on and so forth. Maybe on some nights you have so you don't really go on planning and thinking that okay, I have to do like this, I have to do like that. And this is why this twin flame journey is so special. This ascension journey is so special because it makes you a free person. For a lot of people, even this happened with me also. Few years back, someone told me, one of my teacher told me that you should just release this thing that I am the doer. I was also doing these I am meditations. I was like, but if I say I am not the doer and I am not there, then how will I do anything? Then what's the point of coming here? So he said to me that, well, that is when your real life will start. The day you let it go, that is when you're actually going to, get the wings and you will start flying. And you won't think all this. So that point in time, back then, it didn't make sense to me at all. I was like, what is he saying? Then what's the point of saying I am this, I am that, and blah, blah, blah. And then I think I read this book called I Am That. It's written by Nisarg Datta Maharaj. And this book was given to me by a fellow traveler, an African traveler who was in Nepal, Pokhara, for some time. And he had read the book and someone had also passed it on to him, and then it was passed it on to me, and then I also passed it on to someone. I don't know where that book is now, but I hope it answers the question. So you can also buy this book, you can read this book. So this book has many spiritual answers to many spiritual questions asked by a lot of seekers all across the world. And the book is called I Am That. I am that I am, which means you don't really need to put any adjective to yourself. I am that I am. As simple as that. So when you look at the conventional relationships on planet Earth, you will see that there are certain processes to these relationships, and even the lifestyle, like you're born, and then at the age of 3 or 4 you're sent to preparatory school or kindergarten, then you go to primary school, then later on you go to secondary, and then high school, and then college, and this and that, and then you have to go to some job, and you have to earn some money in a certain way, and you have to take up, you say arts, you say commerce, you take this, you take science, and your life, you have to plan it like very early. You have to plan like 12 years in advance already. And that's what the parents are doing. That's what the poor children have to do. They have to suffer at the hands of the parents. And the parents are suffering at the hands of their parents. And their parents are suffering at the hands of the society and the Maya and the illusion and this and that. And then in the conventional world, then you meet someone at a certain age, then you get married, then you have this fairy tale wedding, and where a lot of people come and a lot of expenses made, a lot of pomp and show is done, expensive jewelry. So these were the things that were running in my mind during the ceremony also. And I was constantly thinking that even though there is, lockdown is going on or pandemic is going on, there are still many people who still want to spend a lot of money in weddings. They still want to invite a lot of their friends. They still want to do all the pomp and show. They still want to show off, their wedding and this and that. Now, I'm not judging anyone who wants to have a fancy wedding. Please have a fancy wedding. Have the fanciest wedding on the planet. But marriage does not mean the marriage that takes place in the ceremony. Marriage is what happens after the ceremony ends. The real marriage is when everybody has gone, when all the music is stopped, when all the food is over, when all your guests have gone, all your relatives have gone. There's no one, there's no parents, there are no friends. That's when your marriage actually starts. Now, conventionally, if you go by how you saw the procession was going on, and everyone was being informed, and even the people who don't know on the streets, they can also see that so and so is getting married and blah blah blah. They're all dancing, they're all singing. But still there are so many marriages, despite all of this announcement and procession and so much that goes into it. People sometimes take loans for it. Before the pandemic, I've personally seen so many fathers and mothers, they're selling off their property, because in India it's a big deal. And now it is still better, but there was a time when people used to give so much dowry just to get the daughters married, It was a big deal getting married. And if you have a daughter, it was a lifetime investment that you would be making to, sustain or to create at least that much amount that is feasible for dowry, and what is feasible to show to the whole world what a good wedding you have done. And the groom's family and the groom should also know. So these are all the things that are also stored in the DNA. So even if, for example, you are a divine feminine, for example, let's say you are a divine feminine whose mother had to give a lot of dowry, or whose grandmother had to give a lot of dowry. How will she raise the daughter? She'll always feel that, my daughter is a liability, I have to do this much or that much. So being that divine feminine, you do have, even if the times have changed, even if the mother didn't give a dowry, but then she would always feel that, I am a liability, I'm going to someone else's house and I have to act in a certain way, I have to please everyone. Otherwise, they can send me back home, and then that would bring shame to my house and blah, blah, blah. So there is this type of programming. In my previous part, I had told you that there are certain countries, there are certain places, there are certain continents, or there are certain states, or so on and so forth, where the daughters are treated really well. They're just like the son, they're just like the male child. Then they would become different, their energy would be different. So that's why a personal session, a personal healing, a personal reading, or a personal course, a complete course that you do, that can basically do detailed work into everyone. It's okay if you cannot do it right now, then you must think about doing it yourself, or you should find a way where you feel that I must heal my template, because if I don't heal my template, then the only way is that I'll keep facing it for as long as I can, and you don't know, you need guidance. Maybe you're here in these channelings because you're a more aware person and you do want to figure it out. So continue listening to the channelings also. But if you feel that no, you do need healing, there is no other way out, then you must do it. These are all inner callings. These are all inner guidance that you must follow. There was a time when I had literally left everything and I would just go away. I would pack my bags and I would go away for 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, 8 months, just only doing inner work, only meditation, deep meditation, reading, studying, just being in myself. So I did make that choice where I was like, no, this materialistic world is not even attracting me. Then came a time when I had all these responsibilities, all my animal friends, where I realized that I cannot even go anywhere. I cannot now, imagine now, I cannot just pack my bags and leave because I have all these friends, my furry friends are there with me. So everyone has responsibilities, and as a householder, whatever chance you get, wherever you get, you must do your inner work. Whether you have to pack your bags and go to a retreat, or whether you have to take a therapy, or whether you have to just leave everything and do it. But then never forget that you have responsibilities. If you have responsibilities, then that is your duty. You cannot go against your duty, and then you will become an escapist. Then you will no longer be in the journey. And a lot of divine masculines do that because the feminine is sort of their commitment and they should not just escape from it, and that's why they suffer. They also suffer. These are all later stages of this journey. So I just want to say that this channeling, I'm going to end the part 2 over here, and I will recontinue because we have to talk about why the conventional path is not for the divine feminines and for the divine masculines. And the sooner you realize it, the better it would be for you. You are different, so of course you have to choose a different path. And therefore marriage also has to be seen very differently by you. It cannot be seen how the karmic see it, how the people see it, how the society see it. Your marriage has to be completely different. And I shall complete the remaining lines in part 3. One love and peace out, and I'll see you soon.